Well, speaking of banks, some of them are teaming up with clean energy companies to try to fight the proposed bank capital rules. D.C. correspondent Emily Wilkins is actually in studio here. Good to see you, Emily. Odd bedfellows, I think, clean energy and banks.
It truly is, Brian. I mean, banks and renewable energy companies, they're sounding this alarm that a proposed framework for increasing bank capital requirements is going to wind up pumping the brakes on green energy projects. So the majority renewable energy systems, like this one we're seeing here at Gallaudet University in D.C., they rely on banks to help with funding, and they do so through tax equity investments, a $20 billion market that actually could double in coming years, according to the American Council on Renewable Energy. So in return, the banks then benefit from federal tax credits that promote renewables. The issue is that the updated capital requirements framework would quadruple how much banks need to hold in reserve for every dollar they spend on these projects. So JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and others have said that this is going to limit their ability to invest in green energy. Julian Torres, the chief investment officer at Scale Microgrids, who helped design and build Gallaudet's system, said it would ultimately impact wider climate goals and the ability to just have an impact with renewable energy.
Basel III would unwind a lot of the progress made by the Biden administration with the Inflation Reduction Act in 2022. And it would make projects inefficient or uneconomic in the current environment for financing.
Dominic Lacey, Gallaudet's chief operating officer, said the university is saving about $1 million a year since it switched to a renewable energy system.
If we didn't have access to that tax credit, we would have had to figure out a different way to replace the infrastructure, and it would have been incredibly difficult. We would not have been able to move as quickly as we did, and quite frankly, I don't know that we would have been able to replace our energy at the scale in which we did.
Now, Powell did tell lawmakers that he thought that any impact on climate change from the framework would be minimal, but he said he was well aware of the commentary and concerns, and Brian will be following what happens there.
So the idea is that we want to build out these energy projects. They're expensive, and the banks are saying these new rules are going to be counterproductive to our climate goals.
Exactly. Banks are saying, hey, we're happy right now to back these green energy projects. They're doing the bulk of that work to really get these projects off the ground. But if capital requirements are going to quadruple, you'll need $4 in reserve instead of just having $1 in reserve. Banks are going to say, look, thanks, but no thanks. This is a little bit much for us. And of course, that's concerning the renewable energy groups a lot to have this roadblock to getting so many of their projects done.